Jim out of West Palm Beach, Florida. Get it off your chest, Jim.
The Bible says the fool will say in his heart there is no God. And that's an easy thing to prove. God provides all the air you need to breathe, the air going at the right speed, the rotation and everything. And it's so easy to understand that there is a God. He provides the food you eat. Everything in your heart is so complicated that they can't create a heart. They have to wait till somebody dies to replace it. And your whole digestive system works, and everything's set up to where it's impossible for a person not to believe that there's somebody that takes care of all this stuff.
Well, it's not impossible. But let me ask you, Jim, how can you prove that God provides the air that you breathe?
Because there ain't no other way it could get there.
But how do you prove it? How do you prove that?
How can anything happen without somebody? There's nothing as far as
I'm
man
not
is
saying
concerned.
that he doesn't. I'm just asking you. You said it could.
Well, it has
How
to be
can
God
you
that
prove it?
creates it because it's too complicated for. In other words, the trees breathe in carbon dioxide, and they breathe out oxygen. That has to be somebody had to come up with that. And there's no other explanation but God that came up with it.
Well, I know, but how do you prove it?
Well, how much more evidence? You got the evidence. How much more do you need?
What's the evidence?
Well, the trees breathe in carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen.
But how do you know that the trees are not providing the air that you breathe and it's not God?
Well, it's easy to understand. If the oxygen was 21% all over the earth, if it was 30%, you light a match, you'd burn down the whole earth. It's facts. In other words, you deal with the facts of life.
The reason I'm asking this, Jim, because there are a lot of atheists now, especially in the millennial world, and a lot of them do not believe there is a God, or even if there is one, they don't know for sure.
Well,
my question to you is, how do you prove that to them if they don't believe that there is a God?
Like I told you before, the sun is the right distance from the earth, and the sun is the right size, and the earth rotating at 1,000 miles an hour. If you drop down to 500, the days would be twice as long, and the temperature would be too hot to anybody to live on the earth.
So,
and
but
do
you think that you believe that you can prove to an atheist that there is a God when they...
Wait a minute here. Wait a minute here.
You think that you can prove to an atheist that there is a God with facts?
Well, how much facts do you need? I mean, if the gravitational pull was too strong, it would crush us. Too weak, it would lose the atmosphere. In other words, we're out here going through space with all the things that you need to exist, and the water and the water they being deep enough to where it's.
Hey, Jim. Jim.
Yeah.
Do you think you could prove to an atheist that there is a God with facts?
Well, what kind of facts are you talking about?
Are you?
I give you all kind of facts there is.
No, my question. Hey, Jim, it's a question. Can you prove to an atheist that there is a God with facts?
Yeah.
You can. Let me ask.
Well,
let me ask.
God said the fool who said it in his heart. God had to be he end up with stupidity to not recognize that there is a God.
Let me ask, is the earth round or flat?
it's round, and we've had that disagreement since they got satellites and stuff like that. You can take a look at the Earth and know it's round.
And so you
And
know
it was
that
flat.
Earth.
Nobody could
How
live
do
on
you
it.
prove to a flat earther that the Earth is round?
Well, if the Earth was flat, the sun would be out all the time. Because
The
it
sun would be
rotation.
flat out.
Because there would be no rotation. There's rotation of the Earth, and every hour it travels 1,000 miles. So you have so many hours in the daytime and so many hours at night. With the
Jim, do you
rotation.
still speak in tongue?
Yeah.
Let me hear you speak in tongue. What did you just say?
The tongues is a prayer language.
So what
can
did you
speak in
just
tongues
say?
anytime you want to.
What did
But
you just
you can't
say?
have an interpretation anytime you want to.
Oh, so you cannot interpret what you just said?
No, because it's a prayer language, and unless the Lord's the one that gives the interpretation. But I do this. I speak in the tongues as a prayer language that God gave me.
And so how about for the folks who don't know what you're talking about? Was it for them?
Well, that's the reason. It's for you to build you up. In other words, the only time that you speak in tongues is when God gives you in the church, if God's got a message for somebody, then He takes over and He speaks in tongues through you and gives the interpretation.
And why can't God just speak directly to that person? Why does He need to?
Well, He can speak
why does He need to
directly
give
the person,
someone
but
else a weird language, and then somebody else have to interpret that in order to
ain't a
get
weird
to the
language.
Hey, Jim, hold on. Why can't God just talk directly to that person? Why does He have to give you a weird language, and somebody else has to get up and interpret it for the person to understand it? Why can't God just talk directly to that person?
In other words, to make sure that the person understands it. In other words, I can't speak in tongues unless the Lord's.
No, but why
I speak
can't
in
God
tongues
talk
because-
directly to the person himself? Is He afraid of
Well,
him?
he does speak to people through their mind and through the spirit.
Well, so why does He need somebody
But
to
the
be
tongues
doing the
is
language thing?
Is a gift. It's a gift.
Who
One of the
told
gifts
you?
of the
Who
Spirit.
told you this, Jim?
The Bible tells you, the 14th chapter of Corinthians.
Amazing. Thank you, Jim. Call me again, buddy. I got to take a break. 1 more hour to go. We got to get to everybody. And their mama. Hank is here with the good hair.